We start this hour in Syria, where this week the U.S. was accused of conducting airstrikes in the province of Deir ez-Zor. The Syrian Arab news agency, or Sana, reported the strikes took place in the town of Hajin, adding local sources claim white phosphorus was deployed in the attack. As a result, Syria's foreign ministry sent a formal request to the United Nations demanding an investigation into the strikes. The letter reads, quote, Syria's once again calling on the UN Security Council to take responsibility for ensuring peace and security throughout the world and to conduct an international investigation into the crimes, to condemn them, and to take immediate measures to stop them and prevent the reoccurrence. The Geneva Conventions prohibit the use of white phosphorus in civilian areas. This is not the first time the U.S.-led coalition has been accused of deploying the munition in Syria. However, last month, the Russian Ministry of Defense charged 2 F-15 fighter jets with dropping white phosphorus in that same Syrian town. The Pentagon denied those reports. What's more, RT Arabic visited the city of Hama in 2017 and spoke with civilians who made similar accusations. Shortly after freelance reporter Khalid Al-Khatib filed these interviews, he was killed in shelling carried out by the self-proclaimed Islamic State.
Our houses are burnt, water is cut, agriculture has stopped. Now we can't water our crops, they are burnt. There is no yield. They struck Al Abidi Bridge in ez-Zor. They completely destroyed the bridge. It cost the country billions.
They struck them with phosphorus bombs in Raqqa. They struck them with phosphorus in Jazara. They struck them with phosphorus in the first neighborhood in Tabqa. They struck them with phosphorus and in Al-Safsat phosphorus.
With U.S. strikes in Syria in question, we're joined now by former UK MP George Galloway. George, based on the track record of the United States, are you surprised by allegations it's deploying white phosphorus in Syria?
Not remotely. The United States used white phosphorus against the people of Fallujah in the west of Iraq in the immediate aftermath of the invasion and occupation of that country. I have actually been present when white phosphorus munitions were being dropped. I've been in hospitals in Beirut in 1982 next to small children with white smoke coming out of their mouths and their noses as the white phosphorus ate its way through them, through their respiratory tracts, into their lungs, and of course all over their skin. So it's no surprise that this munition used against civilians is completely illegal. And the United States stands now accused of a brazen illegal act, compounding the fact that every bomb dropped by the United States in Syria is illegal. It has absolutely no basis in international law. It's unsanctioned by the Security Council of the United Nations, and the United States, and Britain for that matter, are operating in Syria entirely illegally. That makes them criminals. That makes them brigands, bandits. It's funny, isn't it? We never hear the mainstream media in your country or mine describe our armed forces in such language.
No, in fact, the opposite of true. It's true. Whenever the Syrian government is accused of using chemical weapons, the UN Security Council holds dramatic meetings, usually starring U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley and her condemnations of Assad. Is there a double standard when it comes to allegations of the use of chemical weapons in Syria there?
Gigantic, but that doesn't surprise me coming from perfidious Albion and Uncle Sam. What is the most shameful thing, I know I keep going on about this, is the double standards of the correspondents, the commentators, the pundits, the broadcasters, all of whom must know that what I'm saying to you and you're saying to me is absolutely unassailably true, yet none of them ever say it.
Why?
They are ready at the drop of a hat to go into paroxysms of horror and to demand action if there's an allegation of the use of, say, a chlorine shell in Douma, though it turned out not to be true. Yet here is clear evidence, and not just in Syria, but in Iraq before it, a clear evidence of absolutely illegal use of a chemical weapon. What is white phosphorus other than a chemical weapon? The clue is in the name.
Well, I want to get your analysis on the situation in Syria overall, because general consensus is that the war is drawing to a close as the Syrian government liberates final territories from control of extremists. Earlier this week, though, a U.S. general declared that Israel is prepared to destroy the S-300 missile defense system, which Russia delivered to the country last month. Do you believe Israel would be willing to escalate the war so drastically at this stage?
Well, the consequences, I think, would be very grave, and working on the assumption that the missile cannot be destroyed. The purpose of the missile is to destroy the destroyer. So that kind of escalation is very reckless talk indeed. Russia has a special, if troubled, relationship with Israel, and I'd be very surprised if even Netanyahu were ready to do that. But it does beg the question of when the so-called allies will take no for an answer. Almost the whole of Syria is now liberated. Almost all of the alphabet soup of Islamist extremism is now drained away, but they still continue to occupy a part of Syrian land, and it cannot end well. Going back to my Beirut experience, the United States Marines left Beirut in boxes, and I say to the mothers of today's American service personnel, please do not allow your children to be used by the U.S. government in this way, because one way or another, Syria will be free of all foreign occupation. All history tells us that that's how it will end. And let's end it before it gets even bloodier for Western forces than it's already been for the Syrian people themselves.
Especially now that we're hearing U.S. generals say they plan on staying in Syria indefinitely. That point is very pertinent to make. So thank you so much, former UK MP George Galloway. As always, it's a pleasure.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.